Hello and welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible in all of the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Young, and I'm one of your congenial, convivial hosts. Joining me, as always, is our other congenial and convivial host, Beth Martin. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
Have you used either of those before?
I don't think so.
I feel like one of them maybe congenial
I
you
think
have.
congenial, possibly.
I might
Yeah,
have to ask Doug to hunt down the fact that you were
I
wrong
will.
this one
If
time.
Doug, I swear, if you find evidence that I'm wrong, I will. I will
I'll
murder
pay
your
you.
ass. Yeah. So don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare embarrass me like that.
Right, right. What's the crack? I'm packing to come and see you.
Uh-huh. Nice.
Um, so I wanted to ask if there's anything you want from America. I was like,
Um
does he want some American Guinness?
oh that it's the sort of thing that would enrage some people. So I think you should bring that. And I can give it to some of my friends. Would you like some American Guinness? That's good.
Yes,
Um
yes.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's a good question. Let me think. And I really don't think so. No, I'm
Like
good.
nothing, Lucky
No.
Charms.
We're there everywhere. I just have to like
I
catch a
know.
leprechaun and just ask him where his
I
Lucky Charms
bought a
are.
box because the kids like it's the one marshmallow cereal,
Yeah.
right? And they had a leprechaun trap that you could actually like cut out of the box. And I'm like, do you guys even do leprechaun traps? Is that a thing? Because we sure do.
Uh
To the
no,
point where it's on a cereal
probably.
box.
That's a good. Actually, I've just thought of something that I do want. So I hear that like, and I think I saw them in a Super Bowl ad that there are Reese's peanut butter cups with caramel in them now.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
want. Could you bring me some of those? Because I love caramel
Yeah.
and I love Reese's peanut butter cups. So yeah, thank you. So
You
yeah,
watched the Super Bowl
no,
or you
I
just watched the commercials?
yeah, because I'm like, I am a consumer first and foremost, and then
Yes.
anything else, entertainment afterwards. But it's more. There are some of the sites that I check out have like, here are the wildest Super Bowl ads from this
Yeah.
year, and you're just like, okay. And normally I like
Dunkin' Donuts.
normally I get through a few, but it was only I was scrolling down and I was like, who cares? Who cares? And I was like, wait a minute, Reese's peanut
Reese's
butter
with
cups
caramel.
with caramel. I'm like, okay, sign me up. So yeah.
It's like the perfect, like Reese's. I just had some Reese's Pieces the other day
Uh-huh.
because the kids brought them back home from the movie theater. And like Reese's peanut butter cups and Reese's Pieces are the perfect food.
Yes, they are
It's just
incredible.
like the perfect food.
To
It's
think
like that's
yeah,
the ambrosia.
it is. To think that I did not like peanut butter for years, and now I'm like making up for lost time, eating all the peanut butter I can at any opportunity. So yeah.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So, do you guys have ketchup?
Yes.
Okay.
Do
Like
we
if I
do
was
we
like,
have ketchup?
can
How
I
dare
ask for
you?
ketchup with my chips?
You can't. So like by and large, and I think I probably do call it ketchup, but people tend to say red sauce.
Okay, red
Yeah.
sauce.
So
I
yeah,
can't even say it.
I know. No,
Ugh.
you can say ketchup definitely, and they will know what you're talking about. But most
Okay.
people, I would say red sauce by and large in this country. But like, yeah, there's plenty of ketchup, and I mean, we have a metric shit ton of chip shops in this country, so you will get ketchup on your chips, no problems.
Okay.
In fact, you'll probably not have many other options than chips a lot of the time. So
Okay.
just
Okay.
brace yourself.
Okay. Because I was having Harper bring the little ketchup packets back from school.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I'll just bring these and put some in my bag and no one will know. And I'm like sucking out of the little container.
So no, we're there. It's just kind of reminded me of a girl I used to date many years ago. They befriended an American family on one of their holidays, and the American family wanted to come over and visit them in Ireland. And when they came over the first time, they like filled their suitcase with like toilet paper and things like that. And they were like, "Where do you think you're going?"
Yeah.
Which is not like
Yeah.
a third world country. Like, yeah, it's you know, uh certainly I am closer to like more rural stuff. I think everybody in this country is closer to some more rural things than the average American would be, but that's only because it's such a small country more than anything, We're like
Yeah.
we're we're pretty advanced, all right? we get
Okay.
we get these movies, I think you call them, in like theaters and stuff like that. So and we can make like these electronic payments. Have you heard about these things? Electronic payments you can make in shops. We've even got those. So
Okay.
yeah, we're doing pretty good.
It's not cash only. Oh, I
Uh,
had a question.
uh-huh.
Does do you guys I have two currencies that
Okay.
I'm
Yes,
bringing.
you will need
Is that
both because
okay?
we are going down to Dublin. So you'll need euros for
Okay.
Dublin, and up here it's pounds.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because that's so I'm bringing pounds and euros.
yeah.
And I'm
So
bringing 500, so no one rob me.
okay, yeah. We'll not.
I'll
We'll
get a
not.
coin purse, the one that like tucks under my clothing.
We'll,
I'm not gonna do that.
we'll not give people a detail of our whereabouts just in case they want to come and
I know,
rob you of
right?
that princely
I know,
sum. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I love it.
I hate the exchange rate.
Oh, here it's brutal. I know.
It's
I
fine.
actually, it's probably favorable for us these days. I haven't had a look at that in a
It
while.
is, it is, it
Yeah.
is. Ask me how I know.
Yeah, that's true.
All
Uh,
right, I will bring you Reese's with caramel.
hell
That's,
yeah.
yeah, I'm just packing basically because I leave
So that's the crack with you at the
Sunday.
minute.
That's the
Yeah.
correct. Mhm.
Okay.
How about you?
So I guess, I was going to talk a little bit about dog walking. I don't think it's not dog walking update recently. I am currently walking some new dogs since last. I think I gave an update. On Sundays, I am walking two golden retrievers.
Including your own or
I don't bring her with me because
okay.
like truly, yeah, I think a lot of the time it is a joy walking dogs, and especially once you build up a relationship with them. But I truly earn my money walking these dogs. They are
Yeah.
agents of chaos in a way that is difficult to describe. And like, because there's a lot of like accepted logic with dogs because they're both, I think they're just about 1 month or sorry, 1 year, 2 months old sort of thing. So they're still pups basically, but they're like at that age where they're pups, but they're still full-size dogs. So they're strong as hell and, they will wrench your arm off. Um, but they are, and I walk other dogs of that sort of age range, and they are, chaotic also, but like they are a bit more predictable and a bit more manageable because you have these two. They are litter mates. They've grown up together, and they
Okay.
like their energy fuels each other,
Yeah.
and it
They're
is
like,
just
yeah, yeah.
yes, and you're like and I think that like the amount of like times I get twisted up and nearly get my shoulder pulled out of place, and it's it's challenging, but I also adore them. Obviously they're good natured, and like one of my favorite things is whenever I like see them, they both like jump up on me, and I essentially have like a golden retriever in each arm, and it really is really wonderful. But then I'm like, enjoy this now, and in preparation for the nightmare to come.
Right.
But yeah,
These 3 seconds of glory.
these 3 seconds of joy about how much they love me, and then one of them starts chewing my hand a little bit, and I'm like, okay, let's chill out with that. So yeah, keeps me on the toes. But yeah, it's fun, and like I think we have had our first sort of blush of good weather this past weekend, which is very nice. It's always it always kind of surprises you, but we had a really kind of glorious weekend, and I was able to put shorts on for the first time, which is always great. So
Blinding.
perfect.
Blinding.
Yeah. You mean the whiteness of my legs? Yes,
Yes,
that's
yes.
right. Yeah. I so it was really nice. It's always really nice whenever you start seeing that corner being turned, because like oftentimes our spring is not great. It's kind of cold and miserable, but we're starting to see the good weather coming in now. So perfect timing for your visit, actually.
Good. I checked
Yep.
the forecast and it was like rain. And I was like, whatever. I know that's not true.
Yeah, I was gonna say, rain is no guarantee of rain in this country. As same way, sun is no guarantee of sun when you see it in the
Right.
forecast in this country. So we'll be fine.
I'm gonna bring a tiny umbrella. I know
Yes,
I said I wasn't gonna, but I'm gonna.
yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. And also, what toys does Sasha like?
Um, she likes. She's not a big toy dog, but
Okay.
she what she does like is she likes tennis balls, but tennis balls that are brightly colored. She kind of
Okay.
really loves those. There is like And or see, it's a bright orange
Yeah.
one that she has
Yeah.
there. She really is in love with that at the minute.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so yeah, so
Okay.
that's a good call.
Okay. Cool.
Something neon. She likes really bright stuff. She's one of those dogs that has more interest in toys whenever another dog has it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like every child. You're like, oh, I haven't played with that. I
Yeah.
didn't even know I had that toy.
But now
You're playing with it? Oh, it's my toy.
now it's the only thing I've ever wanted in my life.
Mm-hmm,
And I want
mm-hmm,
it now.
mm-hmm,
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Drives me
exactly.
crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you have any occurring updates this week?
I just wanted to thank those who have bought our merch
Oh hell
and
yeah.
sent photos. We love it. So
We do.
seeing Bendy start to make its way onto people's bodies,
It's
it's pretty
rad. Yeah.
cool. It's pretty cool.
Because one of
So
our good friends sent us a picture of this past week, and it was really truly heartwarming and lovely to see. So
were
yeah,
you
we
jealous of the sunshine and all the palm trees that were surrounding her?
yes. And she before also like, was telling me, I remember like having some conversations, she was like, oh yeah, I've got an avocado tree and an orange tree. And I was like, all right, stop rubbing it in. She knows I love her. I'm only teasing her, but still, lay off with the avocado tree stuff, okay?
Uh-huh, uh-huh. You're on notice.
You're on notice, yeah.
What about
Uh,
you?
no, I don't think I've got any current stuff
Okay,
this week. I don't. No.
okay.
So yeah,
Well, our
but
topic, speaking of
hmm
avocado trees.
yeah, nice segue. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thanks. Thanks. We were practicing. We were talking about community and
Uh-huh.
building friendships. And
Uh-huh.
so we put the Bendy in community.
Yeah,
That was good. That
it
was
is good,
Andy's.
right?
Yeah.
That's one of mine. It's pretty great,
Take the
as
credit.
always.
Take the
I
credit.
will take the credit. If you want to compliment me, so last week we talked about sending me messages to tell me what a brave little soldier I am. So also, if you want to like see those with a few like compliments, just mix things up. Send me some
Yeah.
saying I'm a brave little soldier. Some other ones
Because of
saying
your cold.
this is my cold, and other ones telling me how great, nice, generally I am would be lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. So I kind of wanted to talk about this just because I think at various times you and I are both in the position of like being community, I don't know, community builders, but like
Yeah,
wrangling people and bringing people together
very
for
much so.
various reasons. Um, so I just wanted to talk to you about that and figure out why we do this to ourselves.
Yeah.
And talk about building friendships too and
Yes.
what like how to go about doing that because I'm doing a lot of that right now, living in a new place.
Yeah. I know it is tough. And I mean, it's one of those things that, especially as we get older, it's harder to do. And I've definitely had periods of time in my life where I have really struggled with it. I think it's finding my footing with it. I think and it's something I think I've talked about a little bit before in terms of if I am going in completely brand new into a situation, I very much struggle. But if I've got like a way in, like a person who I've met briefly, who knows me a little bit, who is part of a larger group, is way easier for me to like segue into that. Otherwise, I can just be the like, you know, odd silent guy in the corner that somebody's like, that Andy guy's very quiet, isn't he? I can often be that sort of guy. So I think I need that a wee bit of that social catalyst to kind of, get things moving. But yeah.
I think I have the opposite problem
Hmm.
where I can turn it on really easily and be jovial and funny. It just like not all the time, but obviously, but
Yeah,
sorry. But
I know what
I
you're saying.
can be the light bulb that turns on and then people are like, "Oh, she's fun." And
Yeah,
then I get asked to do stuff and then it's like I get myself in situations that I shouldn't
yeah,
or like like maybe these aren't my people, but I already said yes and I don't like
I
saying
hear you.
no and then I
Hmm.
overextend myself and then I'm like in situations that I just like some of them I've told you about where it's just like how did I get here? How did I
Yeah,
get here? So I think for me I like having more control
yeah,
over it.
Yes, I know what you're saying. I was going to say I think though that also leaves you in the position though if you're in control of it, it kind of leaves you with like this sort of responsibility that can be tough to then pull yourself away from. You know.
Yes. So I think, I guess for you, like, why do you like being part of a community, or like, yeah, or do you prefer, or do you prefer to be part of many different communities?
Um, I think that's okay. So I do like being part of communities. I really do actually. That's such an important thing. And I think I like being part of lots of different ones as well. And I am because like I like that sort of range of human experience. I like that range of like influence. Like, I have, just in terms of, recent sort of friend groups, I have like a couple of different sort of yoga communities that I'm part of, both my local one and my kind of international one, which feeds a very different thing. And I mean, like fairly recent, as in maybe like past 10 years or so, like a sort of board game community that I have. And like they are very different in a lot of ways, but I really love both of them in different ways. And I get different things from them, And for somebody like me who's like not, I think some people kind of quite like find in their niche and just kind of live in there. Whereas I'm always looking for like new niches to kind of like,
Mhm.
muscle my way into, So I muscle my way. Maybe that's the worm my way into. That's better. uh, so I think, yeah, and I just, I love meeting new people. I love hearing how they think, where they're coming from. We talked even last week in our comedy episode about like about unique perspectives and how meaningful they are to me. And I think that really translates to my like own life as well. I really kind of love um hearing where people are coming from and their loves, their hopes, their dreams, etc., etc.
Mhm. I think I I'm of the same ilk, I think I like to learn about people, like who they are, but also from a perspective, it turns into like, how can I be of service to them?
Yes.
And I don't know if that's necessarily good or bad, but if I care about a person or group of people, then that's where I put myself, is like, how can I help?
Yes.
Or how can I be of service? And um again, I think, sometimes I get in situations where, I'm in charge of something. I'm like, all right, like I joined the PTA, Parent Teacher Association, and I didn't know it was a 2-year commitment. Found that out the other day, right?
Oh no.
So, it's fine, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, but I am, you know, uh, trying to push myself, trying to meet other people, trying to, be of service in my community, um, because it makes me feel good
Yeah. I hear
at
you.
the end of the day.
Me too.
It
And
serves me to
yeah,
serve you.
I think that's something I mean like, we have a lot of things in common, but I think that's very much something we have in common as well, is like the need to help, the desire to kind of help. And I definitely get something out of that. I mean, it's something I thought a lot about in terms of I feel like I am probably better at helping other people than helping myself, to be quite honest with you.
Mhm.
And in fact, I know that's true. It absolutely is. I really struggle to do things for myself in that way. Um, not I do take care of myself in a lot of ways, but maybe I neglect other things in and I'd throw myself into other sort of commitments like you probably would. So it can be easy to kind of get lost in that a wee bit.
For me, it's avoidance. What is it for you?
Yeah, I think it's avoidance for me too. Yeah,
Yeah,
very much
yeah,
so.
yeah.
Like I I think I in terms of like organizing things or like putting stuff together, whenever I'm in a good mood, I tend to like that's why I send messages to people and say, let's get some stuff in the books, let's get a time organized for et cetera, et cetera. And like oftentimes on the day of the thing, I'm like, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I still do the thing, and most of the time I still do the thing. And I rarely regret doing it. It's always good that I got that thing in the books at the time and have that commitment and have, I'm spending time with friends. So I'm always glad that I've done it. But I think that's the system that I found works for me, is just try to get these things rolling in the good times.
Hmm. I have a very similar reality where it's like I make plans and then I'm like, I really don't want to do this today. And
Yeah.
like I used to be less, well, I now I have an energy budget that I have to work with
Yeah.
as I get older and with all the health stuff. But like, so I have to be careful about what I say yes to a little bit more. But I used to be the person that would like cancel
Yeah.
all the time, be like, can't, sorry, like made three plans for the same day, can't, too tired, can't,
Yeah.
working, can't, and all those things were true. So I think what I used to put a lot of energy, like putting, like my job was to put together events and get people to come together,
Yeah.
and like let's get together and create something, or let's get together and have a conference, or get together and like put on a concert. And so I think that just sort of spilled over into my regular life.
Yeah.
And it's like when you do it for work, then it becomes easy to do it in your personal life because you know how
Uh,
to, they call it herding cats, which like I'm so sick of that phrase.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I
We say it in events a lot. It's like herding cats, and it's like it's just that it's moving humans.
Yeah, yeah, which is as difficult as herding cats. I mean, like I think everybody
Mhm.
understands that now as well.
Yes, yes.
Uh, yeah, I think like I also I suppose as well with that sort of stuff, it's very much like the fear of if canceling. I also really don't want to let people down. I think that really, but like I think that sort of fear gets me in trouble sometimes as well. That for and like I still struggle to find that balance. Like I always overcommit. I always throw myself into things too much. And
You always overcommit.
yeah, I do.
You're overcommitted.
I'm committed and I'm like committed to overcommitting,
I know you are. I know you
And
are.
I just it's a cycle that I really struggle to break. I truly do. And it's like and and I've shown you my chaotic list before, and there's names on that list of people I've wanted to see, and some of them I haven't seen like in a year and a half now, and like I really would love to see them, and I really get a lot out of seeing them, but it's I'm already neck deep in all this other shit that
Yeah.
I've said I'll do, and it just draws you away from that stuff.
Yeah. So, um, what communities are you managing right now? Or like,
It's
yeah,
yeah. I suppose the choir is the main one I'm managing at the minute. I don't think I'm really managing any others. I am
I would say
pro
dog walking is a community for
that's
you.
true. That's true. But I think that like within
And yoga.
yes,
Sorry.
with the yoga, it's true. That's true. That's also true. I think within communities, I am, putting groups together, making things happen. I'm pretty good at that. So like I am a group of desperate sort of friends. We talked last week about my love of cheese and kimchi toasties. Um, have like I've given jars of kimchi to, and they're like, next time you're doing it, let's do it together. We'll do all this stuff. So I'm like, I kind of have that in the hopper. I kind of want to get that happening. And so I'm starting to think about the supplies that we need and a day that can do that and how I would go about arranging that. So there's kind of we like offshoots of things that I'll get happening. There's like a board gaming kind of within my like larger board gaming group of friends. We have like there's five of us play these like legacy games, which are like weekly games that kind of feed off each other. And I'm normally the one who's kind of tries to get like dates for that stuff and kind of gets everybody in place for a game. I kind of fallen off that a wee bit recently, but I am by and large pretty good at kind of taking the initiative to kind of like try to make that stuff happen, you know.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, like probably, lots of them in that case, as usual. Far too many. When I like I saw,
Right.
First I was like, oh no, man, he's just a choir. And then it's like, oh no, wait a minute, that thing and
Yeah.
that thing and that thing and that
Yeah.
thing. And it
Yeah.
just, it's like I there was a poetry festival happening in my hometown in September. And I like mentioned that I'd like to be a part of it. And we had a meeting about 2 months ago. And I realized like last Friday, I haven't done a thing, and I don't think I will have any time to do anything until June at the very earliest. And I said, look, and I said, okay, time to take a step back. So I contacted them and I said, look, I'm so sorry. I just don't think I have the time for this right now. And I haven't heard back from the organizer. She is lovely, so I presume she's probably like, not working this past week, but she hasn't texted me back, and I feel immensely guilty
Guilt.
about it. Yeah, but it's fine. I know
It's
she's cool, and I know she'll understand. But I really wanted to be part of that because it's something that means something to me, and I also wouldn't mind maybe reading at it or being part of it in some other way. So I don't know, but yeah, that's a good example of it's an unusual example of me noticing that I'm overwhelming myself and kind of taking a step back.
I'm like super proud of you right
Thank you,
now
I appreciate
that
that.
you
Yeah.
because I know saying no to people or having to go back and be like, I'm said yes before and now I have to say no is like
Yeah,
hard for us.
very very hard.
Hard,
I
very
think
hard.
both of us understand in theory that's a good idea to do, but in practice, it's a lot harder, right?
It's so hard. I just had to turn a job interview down because I've been having like some health stuff and it's like I just can't be consistent
Yeah,
enough. And like Andy knows this because like
yeah,
every other Monday I'm like, I can't today, I don't feel good.
yeah,
So thank you for being flexible with me, but
of
I
course.
can't and being a reformed-ish workaholic, like it's the hardest thing to do to turn down work. It's so
It is.
weird. But I just like I know I'm not gonna do well. I'm not gonna do well by them. So
Yeah,
like I had to say like I'm putting my health first. And she responded the next 2 days later, but like those 2 days were like 40 weeks. And I was
yeah.
like, oh my God, like please forgive
You're
me.
gonna
And
be
she was
mad
like,
at
good for
me.
you.
Yeah.
I know, right? Rocking back and forth. But she was like, your health comes first. Um,
That's cool then. Well, so before we, and then so
yeah,
what about you? Like in terms of you asked me about my communities and things that I'm part of.
yeah.
What about you?
I mean, I have like, yeah, I had definitely have groups of friends, like friend groups, with different like my high school friends, that's a whole thing. My
Yeah.
Burning Man friends, that's a whole thing. My yoga friends, that's a whole thing. But I'm also, I think part of building community is working on individual friendships.
Yes.
And so that's been happening for me more and more just as I get more involved in things.
Yeah.
In our new home and meeting people and really fostering like those individual friendships that I know will then lead to like the community, kind of like you were saying, like it's easier if you've got an in.
Yeah.
And normally, when you live somewhere for like 30 years, there is no in, you're just in.
That's straight.
So it's different being, and you've had this experience, moving to different countries and having no in really, like you've
Yeah.
got to build each brick by brick. And so I'm feeling like I'm focused there and less on uh my friend groups right now, just
Yeah.
because I need to build a friend group where I'm planted.
Like, and I think it's has always been for me is the friends who are important will understand that and will always be there
Yeah,
for you. And there's so many friends in my life who I maybe haven't spoken to for a couple of years here and there, and then when you do see them, it's like no time has passed at all. And those are the best people and the best friends, as far as I'm concerned.
absolutely. Absolutely. So And also the best friends are the ones you talk to every week because you have to. Haha.
Yes, also true. Yeah, nice. Thanks. Yeah, okay. Nicely done.
But
Right.
I want to ask kind of a harder question.
Uh-huh.
Have you had um like friend groups or like interest groups that haven't worked out or slowly die? And like how do you deal with that?
Hmm. That's a good question. I suppose probably I mean I've had some smaller groups that have just faded because I guess like we've got older, we've went different down different paths, we had different interests, you know. Um and I think that like I know that certainly, you know, I had a few different friends when I was like very young that we kind of drifted apart. I drifted apart from them, and like I really kind of took that hard at the time. You know, it was just like, but it's like so many friendships whenever you're a kid, they are very much based on proximity. You know, it's that they lived over the road from you. It's not that, you
Right.
know, you're maybe had loads in common or you're very similar sort of people. So some of those hurt definitely and sucked, but like you know, I have always been very lucky in that I've always had, you know, really good groups of people and really good friends at all stages of my life, people who I know cared up for me. And like, you know, I have multiple different groups of friends who I have been friends with for like 20 plus years that we're still, you know, keeping things together. We're still like keeping things going. There's like a a group of folks, and like some of them like are married and stuff now, and we and I think it was just before I think it was around lockdown time, and I was like, I don't get to see these guys very much. So we organized like a gaming session where we could just hang out and chat, and that's still going, you know, that's still something that we do when we have time. It's not as frequent anymore, but it's still, you know, I was so happy that like we kind of made that happen, and we kind of, you know, we kept that sustained because it's just a really lovely way of spending time with people when you can't physically be in the same space as them, you know.
Hmm. I love that. And lockdown was a whole
Oh
beast
yeah.
in itself, so I'm glad you all had that
Yeah.
during that time. I have a really hard time when things change and like groups die out. Like it's really hard
Yeah,
on
it's
for
hard not
me
to take it
to like
personally, right?
I
Yeah.
do. And it's like I hate change,
Yeah.
right? I'm like Garth in Wayne's World, like I fear change. Like
Yeah.
I hate it. I
Yeah.
hate it. So when something like our Burning Man group of friends, like none of them go anymore except
Yeah.
for us. And like we were, you know, it's like we were the camp people, we were the ones that brought camp. So it's like, you know, we're sort of the what do they call it, the golden spike or whatever.
Yeah. You're
But
the centerpiece of the group.
yeah,
Yeah.
because we brought the water.
Yes, that makes
So
sense. Yeah.
he who brings the water has the power.
Yeah.
Uh not power, but you know,
Yeah. I understand.
so but we all got together last Thanksgiving and that was so fucking nice.
Oh
And I
yeah, I saw the
miss them
pictures for
so
that.
so
Yeah.
we yeah, so what we do instead, because no one likes to go to Burning Man anymore, we like we rent a place or we visit someone. So
That's
we've
nice.
met in Colorado, we've met in San Francisco. Um, hopefully everyone's gonna come out here. And it's just like especially when you go through something extreme with friends, it's like you know each other in a way that like no one else can possibly know you,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know? And I love that. And I love that we're still able to do that even though it's in a different form.
Hmm.
And the same thing with like high school friends, you know, people have gotten married and like, but like there's still a core group. And uh I just love them all so much. Like
Yeah.
they've known me for most of my life, and again, like it just feels so good to be known for who I am and who I was, you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
So
Yeah, it's important. Like I think it really is. Those friendships are like
yeah.
fundamental, you know, they really are.
But like I've had like book clubs and like women's groups that I've had to exit from for various reasons, but mostly because well, I was sick and or it just wasn't the right fit anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know,
And it's
home. bowing out.
And it's good to recognize that and like make that move, because I think you can really let those things linger sometimes and they just don't. Like, it's kind of fun, because I think about certainly some of the friend groups that I've had that have fallen apart have fallen apart because I moved country. So like, friend groups I made in like I specifically the friend group I made in Taiwan, I kind of like there was a lot of people I really liked a lot in that group and who I still think of fondly and I have on social media and stuff, but like it wasn't I don't know, there was they didn't linger the way some of my other friends, like I have so many friends from my time in Korea that I'm still pretty regularly in touch with, do you know what I mean? Or still
Yeah.
like I'm still really close with, and it just the Taiwan group for whatever reason it just didn't. And it's hard, sometimes not to look at those things and as like a feeling in you sort of thing. You know what I mean? I'm sure you understand.
I absolutely
So
do.
so it's like it's tough, And there was one friend in particular who I really loved, and he meant a lot to me, and I liked him, but like he's somebody who is a tough remote friend to have. Do you know what I mean? Texting him is a stressful experience and things like that. And that kind of made me sad because I really did like his company and we had a lot of like, similar interests and things like that.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, the death of community or friendship is just it's hard.
It is.
There's
It
just no
is.
way around it.
It is. And especially whenever you're like moving around. Do you know what I mean? It's unavoidable.
Yeah,
It really is.
yeah, yeah. And having moved and not been back to where I moved from for a couple years, what's nice is people are coming to me.
Yes. That's is nice.
That's
Yeah, yeah,
like the
yeah.
win-win. But also, yeah, it's hard, but it's still part of life. And I
Sure.
would say like our yoga group, our com communal, like our shared yoga group,
Yeah.
that's been awesome, and
Great.
like even though like for a while during COVID we were meeting every month
Yeah.
over Zoom, and then the trip to Portugal was fabulous for those that could make it.
Yeah.
And like I'm hoping that can continue, that we can do
I
something
think
like
so.
every other year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so, very much so. I think it's and like and I suppose the other thing as well is that you're gonna have to find some people just because of whatever their situation in life is, that it's just not possible to continue on with those things, and then that's just how it goes sometimes. And like
Mhm.
like I in certain trips or like certain things, like my time in Australia, I um like I had friends over there with me and I made friends there and people I liked, but like there's only one person who I really was really close with, and we are still very close friends, and it's like if if all you get out of one experience is one really close friend, then that's rad.
That's
That's
a
like
really good way of looking at it.
yeah,
I'm like I'm like a hoarder. I'm like
I
all of
know,
them,
I
or
know.
else it doesn't work.
But
And that's like silly.
I think that that's you're like me as well, and to an extent. Well, maybe I mean, I maybe like in terms of that, I'm kind of like I need everybody to love me, and like by and large, people do really like me. The people that get to know me, and like I have explained to you in the like Ash Evil Dead way, I'm like, I really desperately want them to love me, but as soon as they do, I'm like, what? You love me? What the fuck's wrong with you? You know?
For
Uh,
me, it's less I want them to love me, and it's more this is selfish.
uh-huh.
I'll This is selfish of me, but like I want to feel what it felt like at pool school when we were all together and
Yeah,
like,
I hear you.
hugging each other and like all in one place, and I felt so good. I want to
Yeah,
feel that feeling all the time,
yeah.
right? So I'm like trying to harvest that feeling.
Like chase that rainbow. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which
I hear
doesn't
you.
exist except for
Yeah.
like that. But that's not true. Portugal was fucking
That's true.
fabulous.
It's true.
So
But
yeah.
like I think this and yourself, like whenever you try to like, hold on to those things and like keep those things going, they inevitably fade over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, do you know what I mean? Like there's something like, in terms of that experience in particular, our teacher training, none of us could have really predicted what that was going to be. The reasons why we were all there were for such a wild variety of reasons as
Yeah.
well. And it just kind of like all came together perfectly. I mean, you know, for some of us certainly anyway. And I, you know, loved, you know, like I didn't know what I needed from that trip, but I really kind of got it. You know, it was just such a kind
Hmm.
of, I don't know, it was really
Hmm.
fantastic.
Hmm. So, what is the hardest part about being a people gatherer for you?
Um, I think that like my emotional battery is more limited than I probably than people understand. Like I really have a hard cutoff point, and it's tough for a lot of people to get their heads around that. And it took me a long while to kind of realize that. I would oftentimes keep pushing past that, and it would make me miserable, and it was way worse, you know.
Can you explain what your emotional battery is like? What do you mean?
Like I think that you know, if I am in a place or in a situation, and you know, that's with whether it's with a group or you know, whatever, I hit a point where I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this. I can't really be around people. I don't really want to talk to anybody right now. I need to go home and like, you know, put a
Yeah.
blanket around myself and just kind of like, you know, go to sleep or whatever. Um, so like I think that's I think it has been and it's still a struggle trying to figure out the push and pull of that because it's like I oftentimes hit that point and I go home and I'm like, thank God I'm home. I'm in my safe space, you know, my dog's here, this is great. But like 30 minutes later, I'm like lonely again, you know, and it's really frustrating, you know. But yeah, I definitely and like I know that I push, I really try to like get as much juice out of this battery as possible. And it's you know, it's why I overcommit and why I like end up doing too much. And it's why that like sometimes I am in a place and I am like solo energy and so like you know don't it's just people can tell something's up with me and the last thing I want there and then is for people to say to me what's
Are you
wrong or
okay?
yes are you okay yeah um so I just would rather not be there it's and because like you know my personality wise is to try to be as unfeelingly polite and kind as possible and that's nearly impossible to maintain whenever I'm in that sort of like depleted state you know so it's I don't know it's something I am continuing to work on, I kind of struggle with.
It's really good that you realize that you have a battery
Yeah.
at all, right?
It took me a while to figure it out, but yeah. What
And
about
I like mine has been forced on me, I think,
uh-huh.
just with the health issue stuff. So like I run out of I just run out of gas and then I
Yeah.
have to go lay down and literally like gas up my body by resting. And then I've talked to Andy about this, but like I have an energy budget and I can do something for a certain amount of time and then I need to take like 15 to 30 minutes to recharge and then I can get back up and keep going
Yeah.
and then I need to rest and it's just like, I think sometimes it's not as bad and sometimes it's really bad and I don't know how to explain that to people.
Yeah. It
That's hard when I without having to like go too far into detail of like why I'm just like
it
sorry, I have to sit in my car.
yeah. This is it. Like it's you know, and it's kind of like but it's like, you know, when we've talked about this before, it is virtually impossible to explain to people and you know, it's unless people experience something similar, it really is you- like, you know, so much of certainly what I've experienced with humanity is this just like just push through, just keep going, you know, like you know, you can do it, you know, all that sort of thing.
Just make some tea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, keep calm and carry on, as they say in the those slogans. But it's I think it's like ultimately bad for the relationships and for you to kind of really push through those things. I think, you know, it's important to kind of recognize, at least bring attention to it because it can be tough whenever you just aren't, I don't know, in that right place at that right time, you know.
Mhm. It's interesting. I thought that this episode is going to be like light and funny, and like
Yeah.
I'm realizing it's like really hard for us to do the
Yeah.
work that we do. And it really, I think it's very much a core of like who we are and how we identify ourselves.
Yeah, it is.
And like this is really personal.
It is. It is. It's true. I know. I like, but I think that like that is so. I mean, I think that's so true of like a lot of people who are like, you know, uh, um, who are like socially linked in. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there's a need for that within us, I think, right?
Mhm.
And it's kind of like, and there's a good side to that and a bad side to that. Um, but it's an interesting one to navigate.
So for you, um, what are the best parts? We have to think
Um,
positively now, Andy.
okay, I'm on it, I'm on it, I'm on it. I really love like, if I'm with, it really makes me happy putting people together, truly. And it's like I haven't really done it for a while, but I really used to love having parties and things like that, and just kind of like
Mm,
being that person to kind of bring people together. And like, people said to me, "Oh, we're so grateful that you've like invited us into that." And I'm like, "Of course, if you're my friend, it's not even a thing. This is why I do it." And like I find parties can be quite taxing, honestly, and especially if it's like I'm hosting, but like it brings me joy to do that, and it kind of like, I don't know, validates me, I suppose, in a way as well, and I like that is very much constantly something that I'm like, looking for. So like it's yeah, I really kind of but I do, and I like I I have so many people who love me, and it's really, that is, everything is kind of what makes life worth living, so that's
mhm. I
that's what's
would say,
important.
I would say, yeah, that's absolutely like spot on.
Yeah.
I think too, um, these things that we do, they mark a passage of time. Like you have an event and it's like this big thing happened, or
Yeah.
like even like going to Portugal, we got to like relive our experience in Costa Rica doing yoga teacher training.
Yeah.
And it's like these little things, these little events, these little, drops in our lives, like it marks growth. Like we get to look back and be like all this stuff has happened since we were in the jungle. And
Yeah.
like I haven't seen you since, well, I haven't, it's like I see you all the time, but I
I
haven't seen
know.
you since August.
It's true.
Like,
It's true.
so, like I'm excited to see you in person again,
Yeah.
and see where you live, and like just get
Yeah.
to know that side of you. You've seen part of my life here,
It's
but
true.
so I think that's part of what I love. And then I also love really just watching, creating something and then watching other people make connections with each other and being
Yes.
like, yeah,
I hear you.
did
Yeah.
something good, and like look at the connection, and like look at the jokes, and like even like you, because like I not I kind of like I didn't organize all of Portugal, but like I found the place, and
Yeah, you
got
did.
everybody's like input on dates, and
No,
just
you're
like you telling stories about conversations you were having that I wasn't privy to makes me so happy.
yeah,
you know
absolutely. No, I
like
know
that
exactly. Yeah.
totally feeds my soul.
I,
So
and it's even like,
you're
with,
welcome, Andy.
thank you.
Hmm.
With like the choir, like, over time, people were like, "Oh, we've made friends with this person, and I've made friends with this person," and I'm like, if that is all that we managed to achieve in putting this choir together and building these little friendships and relationships, then that is incredible and massive and fantastic. So yeah,
Yeah,
very much so.
yeah. um so I was gonna ask, are you building community more or less now? But I know the answer, I think.
Yeah, same as always. Still doing
Yeah.
it.
Have you done this your whole life?
I think so. Like, yeah,
I think so.
in some form or another, like I'm always trying to like put things together and put people together. Like, it's for my benefit as much as like anything else, and it's like
Yeah.
putting friends that I want to spend time with. And I really like, I'm grateful for other friends. Like I have other friends who are good at that as well. And I'm so, so grateful for them. But not everybody is, I think. And I think it's a little bit like a fear of like rejection, and because it can be tough organizing things because you can have people just completely ignore you or like outright say this is bad or whatever it happens. Um, but like I don't think, and those things do bother me, but I don't think they have ever dissuaded me from like doing this, and part of me thinks that, I'm, constantly looking for like validation and things like that. And I'm like, part of me thinks it is that to an extent, but I also just think that I like having people in my life, people that mean something to me, people that make me laugh, people that, who I just enjoy doing things with, and like I will never, and I'm like good at that. I'm good at like keeping that together and kind of making that happen. So it's very much something that I think I focused on to try to like keep kind of pushing forward with that.
Mhm.
What about you?
Um, I think I'm doing it less now. I think I'm more passive about it, and I'm kind of I will wait for an invitation as opposed to creating something.
Yeah.
Um, which is different for me. Like I'm living differently in that way. Because before, like I would be like, coffee date with this person, like busy, 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 busy. And I don't have as much energy for all of that now.
Uh-huh.
And I have, it's like I'm also a parent, so I have to be
Yes. Which is
100% on for my kids. And
yeah.
so that plays into it. But um I guess for the first time in my life, I'm being more passive about creating that kind of like community. Like I would always want to have a trip on the books or be planning something
Yeah.
or be organizing something. And I'm really not right now. Like if someone's like, "Hey, do you want to volunteer for this?" I'll be like, "Yeah, let me think about it." I'm saying no to more things. And this has really like happened over the last like 3 or 4 years that
Yeah.
I've been doing this. That's not true. Like I've still been organizing things throughout that time, but also like dropping out of groups that I just don't have the energy for and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So less.
Yeah.
So what are the communities that have meant the most to you, like in your life?
Um, that's a tough one.
Taha. I saw
I
you getting sleepy eyes.
I
It's like
know
super late his time and it's the morning for
it
me,
is starting to get
so
late,
I
but
know.
it's all right. I'm on it. I, you know, I don't think I would single out any particular. I mean,
I
like
love your diplomacy.
I am being diplomatic, but I also mean it. Like I really do. Like, you know, I have so many of the groups that I'm kind of involved with feed like different parts of my personality,
Yeah.
and so like they're all really important to me. They really are, and like, you know, I- um, I there's so much like I want to learn and like know in this world, and like, keeping like a toe in all these groups really kind of helps me kind of achieve that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so many people and there's like so many groups that are like will be important to me, I hope, until the day I die. And I plan to kind of like make an effort to make sure that happens.
Mhm.
What about you?
I'm gonna say the same thing. Like, even if I'm not part of something I used to be part of, like it still meant a lot at the
Yeah.
time and like shaped who I am now and obviously shaped who I was at that time. And so I don't, like I don't regret anything that I've been part of
Yeah.
or organized. And I think that there are things that I wish I was still doing more of. Like theater was such a big part of my life for
Yeah.
such a long time. And I miss that piece. I miss, I miss I wish that now I'm living in a place where it's like I do have so many friends that live all over the world. And like as a person who likes to gather people, that's really hard.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
it's like I wish we all lived, closer.
Yeah,
But at the same time, it's like we're all having our own individual experiences, and that's what makes life more interesting and fun when we do hang out. So,
very much so.
yeah. Can I ask you a harder question?
Yeah, I
What
love it.
would life be like without your communities?
Yeesh. Not good.
Yeesh. Oh,
No, not good. Like I need my friends, like I really do. Like it's so crucial to me, truly. Yeah, no, I mean, like I suppose it is a hard question. So I suppose I'll give a dramatic answer, which is I don't really feel that like life would be worth living without them, to be perfectly honest with you. It's really
yeah.
that important to me. So yeah,
Oh,
that's my answer.
yeah. That's good. I mean,
But
bad. I mean, great. I mean, all the things, right?
yeah, all of the above, yeah.
All the above. Yeah, I've done like with long COVID and being in bed and like losing everything and not being able to go to
Yeah.
anything, like literally life was not worth living. And so to be able to start like putting things back a little bit and adding things back to my life, it's been really, 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 really nice.
Yeah.
And it's also been nice to have been like people have missed me, and that
Yeah,
feels really good, right?
it does.
So I think, not to be like trite, but like I need people as much as they need me.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
it's nice to know that and feel that like both ways. So
I love it. Yeah, that's
yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah.
I
That's what I
like
got.
that's good. I like it. I still feel and it's like uh um if I had somebody reach out to me who I used to work with a couple of years ago and just saying they'd love to like hang out, have a coffee and stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, I'm still almost so humbled by that. Do you know what I mean? And kind of like so, why? You know, and I still, yeah, it's just, my sort of shit, but like it's still really lovely. And like, that was within that workplace. I like put together like a kind of lunchtime board game club and I invited him along to that. Do you know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
these are important and they resonate with people and because you like made the effort to include them and I really liked him, so I wanted to include him, and it's like that is meaningful to people and that lasts, and I think there's something really kind of powerful about that. So yeah.
So it all comes back to board games.
Yes, doesn't it
It
always?
always, it always.
Always comes back to board games. I can shoehorn it in any way I
I
can.
know, right? I know. That's the name of our podcast, actually.
Andy shoehorns in board games. The podcast.
The podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. So yeah, I think we are moving past these questions to an even more personal, more dreaded question, which is what has been bringing you joy this week?
Um, okay, I'm gonna go.
I have an
So,
off-topic answer. Yes.
okay, I'm gonna talk about something I talk about all the time.
Uh-huh.
I got tickets for Burning Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so once a year, I haven't gone in a long time,
Hmm.
2015. So even when I don't go, it's like I know when the ticket sales are happening. And it's like I used to schedule a meeting for myself so that no one would bother me for like 2 to 3 hours while I was in the ticket queue. But we got tickets in like 17 minutes because
Nice.
we're on the fence. I'm like, do we go? Do we not? Like, can Andy go? Can Andy not?
Yeah.
But I'm listening to the universe. And as I talk about like adding little things back to like little things like, okay, I can dive, my body can handle diving again. And it's like,
That's
this is
true.
something I lost, right? I
Yeah.
lost the ability to go. The event wasn't happening. So the fact that we got tickets in such a short amount of time and it was like it turns like a maybe into like, oh yeah, this is probably definitely happening. I'm listening to the signs, I'm hearing the signs, and the signs are telling me to live my life. And
Hell
that
yeah.
feels good. So there's joy there.
I love it.
And
Yeah.
aggravation because it's Burning Man. And that's just
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
joyful
Oh,
and aggravating all in the same.
all the overheads that are
Yeah,
now
it's
coming
like a
up.
weird
Yeah.
cocktail. Uh-huh.
I love it.
What about you?
So the one, and I'd written this down before this topic had even come up because I'd kind of been collating things that have been kind of bringing me joy in recent time. But like
Good.
my local yoga studio, still such a like constant source of joy for me. I have made some wonderful friends there who I love and are just great people, and I'm so happy that they're in my life. And it's just like I've said before, I really kind of love being in that group, being in that around that energy. Like even if I am not being particularly social and I can just be there, I can be with people. It's really special and incredible. And yeah, I'm really grateful that I found that place because it kind of dovetailed with like the end of my last sort of relationship. And also, it was obviously the building blocks to me actually do, how we met and the yoga teacher
Mhm.
training. But like as time has went on, like I have, so many wonderful friends from there and so many just people that I have like, you know, kind of acquaintances, there's people that I know and passing and like because like it's also a studio that my sister attends and my mom attends and like friends of my mom's and like my mom will be like having conversations with some of the folks that I kind of half know and it's really nice. It's really nice group to be a part of. So yeah, that's definitely bringing me joy.
That's fabulous.
Mm.
And bless them for getting you to Costa Rica.
Yeah, so true. So true.
And helping your back.
Yes. Oh yeah, very much. Yeah, all of those things are good. Yeah, yeah.
That's good. I love
So
it.
yeah, that was a good one.
Okay.
So
Should
yeah,
we beg people?
yeah. Please, please,
Please,
please
please
subscribe to us. Please like our videos.
follow.
Please follow
Please
us
listen,
on
listen.
whatever your service of choice is. We would very much appreciate it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and I think that's everything. So oh yeah, actually, the last thing to say is that probably our next episode that we record has got to be in
Oh
person.
yeah, it is.
So
Except for we'll be in different rooms,
we'll be in
maybe.
different
We'll
rooms,
figure it
maybe.
out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I'm
One of
gonna
us.
bring my mic.
Yes. So that'll be exciting. But so this is us signing off in our last remote Bendy podcast. Until next time. So we have to remind you to stay
Stay
bendy. Yeah.
Bendy.
Hell yeah.
You did
All right.
better.
Yeah,
You
so
had to like
good.
drop in. I loved it. We love
We love you. Bye bye
everybody. Bye,
bye.
bye, bye.
All right, good stuff.
That was like deep. I was like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be. I